It was summertime on the island of Sodor. The engines on the narrow gauge railway were working very hard. The sun shone and it was very hot. Too hot even for holidaymakers to lie on the beach. One hot day, Duncan was taking some passengers to the Bluebell Railway. On his way, he saw a party of scouts putting up their tents in a field beside the line. They waved at Duncan as he passed. When Duncan arrived at the station, Stepney was there waiting. Duncan told him about the scouts. "They come for their annual camp," explained Stepney. "It's a sort of holiday for them. Their leader had been to see Mr. Griffin and Mr. Percival, and he says that they can work on your railway." "Sounds a funny sort of holiday to me," said Duncan. "Lots of people do that on the mainland, you know," said his driver. "And the scouts are going to help us. Do you know that place near the top station where the ditches are bad and we have to be careful when it's wet? Well, the scouts are going to put that right for us." When Duncan told the other engines about the scouts, they were pleased, because they didn't like having to slow down at the place in wet or frosty weather. But each day it got hotter than ever. The scouts were hot too. They rested thankfully as the engines passed. But their cheery waves became weary as the week went on. On the final day of their camp, Duncan puffed uphill with the passenger train. He was looking forward to a rest under the trees at the top station. As Duncan neared the place where the scouts were working, he whistled to warn them he was coming. Then he saw a figure crossing the line in front of him. "Steady, Duncan," warned his driver. "He looks as if the scout leaders want us to stop for something." Duncan came to a gentle stop, and the leader climbed onto the step of his cab. "Is anything wrong?" asked the driver. "Not really," replied the leader, "but I'm afraid there might be unless the boys have a drink. All this work on the railway is making them thirsty. Can you drop off some pop or something when you next pass, please?" "No problem," replied the driver. "I'll see the refreshment lady when we reach the top station." But when they got there, the refreshment lady had bad news. "I'm sorry," she said. "I've sold all my drinks to my customers, and I haven't got one bottle left." "Bother," sighed the driver. "Not a bottle to be had. Everybody is thirsty as those boys, so now what?" Duncan didn't know. He thought so hard that he began to feel thirsty himself. Then an idea came to him. "Isn't there a shop near the Bluebell station?" he said. "Bernard told me about it a few days ago, and a young shop lady might have some drinks for the boys." "Good idea, Duncan," cheered the fireman. Then Duke steamed in. The station master spoke to him. "Duke, can you take Duncan's coaches while Duncan takes something to the scouts?" he asked. "I'll be happy to," replied Duke. "Thank you, Duke," said Duncan, and he puffed quickly away. When Duncan arrived at the Bluebell station, the shop lady was waiting for him. She gave Duncan's driver a dozen bottles of drinks. "I haven't much myself," she said, "but the scouts are welcome to what there is." "Thank you," said the driver. Duncan set off again. A little later, the scouts heard a whistle, and Duncan puffed into sight. He stopped beside them, and his driver gave them the drinks, and told them it was all Duncan's idea. Duncan smiled. On the way home, Duncan met Stepney at the junction. "You were right, Stepney," he said. "The scouts were very helpful on the railway after all, and they say the tracks is mended." "That's great news, Duncan," smiled Stepney. "I heard you have been helping them with their thirsty work. You have done a good deed, which what scouts always do." "Yes, I sure did," laughed Duncan. When Duncan got home, the Think controller was waiting with the scouts. "Duncan, the scout leader told me you have been very helpful to the scouts today," he said. "I'm very pleased with you. And I would like to present you, Duncan, the Scout Badge of Friendship," said the leader. The scouts cheered, and Duncan beamed happily. "It was nothing, sir," he said. "They're helping us. It's only fair we should help them too."